This week in the Redlands, a vegetation clearing dispute on North Stradbroke Island is heading all the way to the High Court of Australia in a case that could have broader implications for how planning laws interact with traditional rights. Property values across the Redlands have jumped significantly in the latest land valuations, highlighting the continuing pressure on housing across southeast Queensland. And there's a growing push for more hotel development in the region as tourism operators argue the Redlands needs more visitor accommodation. Adam here with the Redlands update, where we take a look at some of the things happening across the Redlands City Council area this week. Let's start with the property market. Property values across Redlands City have risen significantly in the latest round of land valuations. More than 60,000 properties across the local government area were revalued, with the total value of land across the region now sitting at around $42 billion. Overall, land values increased by roughly 20%. Land valuations are determined by the Queensland Valuer General and are based on evidence such as recent property sales and broader changes in the property market. They are used by councils when calculating things like rates, although increases in land value don't automatically translate into the same increase in rates for individual properties. What the figures do show is how strong demand for land has become. Like many parts of southeast Queensland, the Redlands have experienced strong population growth in recent years, which has placed increasing pressure on housing supply. Later in this update, we'll also look at a Redlands case that's now heading to the High Court of Australia, but first, another issue that has been drawing attention locally. Growth pressures are also becoming increasingly visible on the southern Moreton Bay Islands. Recent discussions around housing demand, infrastructure levies, and long-term planning have highlighted the challenges of managing growth in these communities. One of the biggest long-term questions relates to sewerage infrastructure for the islands. Estimates suggest expanding sewerage services across the islands could cost in the order of $1 billion. That has raised questions about how such a project would ultimately be funded and what it could mean for council rates in the future. At the same time, population growth on the islands has been increasing steadily, and many residents say infrastructure needs to keep pace with that growth. Balancing development with infrastructure and environmental protection is likely to remain a major planning challenge for the area in the years ahead. Now to the legal case mentioned earlier. A long-running dispute involving Redlands City Council is now set to reach the High Court of Australia. The case relates to vegetation clearing on Minjerribah, or North Stradbroke Island. A local resident cleared around 2,400 square metres of native vegetation, saying the work was carried out in preparation for building a home for his daughter on land connected to his ancestral country. The matter has already passed through several levels of the Queensland court system. A magistrate's court initially convicted the man of illegal vegetation clearing, but that decision was later overturned in the district court. The Queensland Court of Appeal also dismissed the council's attempt to reinstate the conviction. The courts accepted that the man had raised what is known as an honest claim of right defence, arguing he genuinely believed he had a traditional right to clear the land. With the High Court now agreeing to hear the case, the final decision could potentially clarify how planning laws interact with traditional rights and native title in situations like this. There is also growing discussion about tourism development in the Redlands. Local businesses and tourism advocates are pushing for more hotel investment in the region, arguing that the Redlands currently lacks sufficient large-scale accommodation for visitors. Supporters say additional hotels could help unlock more tourism potential, particularly given the area's proximity to North Stradbroke Island and the broader Moreton Bay region. Others say the focus should be on expanding tourism attractions that would draw more visitors to the area. The discussion highlights an ongoing question for the Redlands as it continues to grow: how to expand the visitor economy while still preserving the lifestyle and character that many residents value. Those are some of the key things happening across the Redlands this week. If you live in the area, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on some of these issues. If you'd like to stay up to date with what's happening across Greater Brisbane without the spin, make sure you're subscribed. Here's updates for some of the other Greater Brisbane LGAs, the Greater Brisbane overview for the week, and the full series so you can stay up to date with everything happening across the region. See you there.